Walk a mile in my moccasins. After the dust settles and all that's left are regrets, should-haves, half-sorries, and sad stories. Walk a mile in my moccasins as I pretend to know how to parent, faking it and praying not to break it. Faking it and praying not to break it into millions of I don't knows. And I don't know how to forgive myself. It was never taught, and the color of forgiveness isn't brown. Walk a mile in my moccasins as I try to hold down a job to put food on the particle board table, courtesy of Sally Ann, raise some children, and take care of myself. And must pretend I know what to do, all the while holding my head up and my heart is crying, trying not to throw up, waiting for answers and reprieve from a fixed deck of cards with no faces. But I did watch TV. Walk a mile in my moccasins as the racism courses through others' veins, blue-blooded change who write books on parenting and self-help wherewithal, be-all, end-all, shoving it down my throat while holding my neck between righteous hands who have never been abandoned, never been shamed, never been blamed, or culturally raped in another language you are now just beginning to understand. Walk a mile in my moccasins as I bear the burden and the pain of our ancestors who placed so much hope in us. And I'm afraid to fail, and I'm afraid to get swallowed up by time and the lack of disclosure and white papers and wasted words falling upon deaf ears as I walk in my own moccasins. Walk a mile in my moccasins as I try to put two and two together and still come up with the letter 3 every time because I never understood why the people in foster homes were cruel to scrawny brown kids. Walk a mile in my moccasins as I cry for a mother who never knew how to live, who never knew how to love. Oh, but she was so good at dying. Walk a mile in my moccasins as I look in the mirror and I see all the lost dreams of the ancestors who laid down their lives at the cost of their generations so that future brown kids could stand a chance. Walk a mile in my moccasins as I shed daily tears for all the lost brown women who were once little brown girls, and hopefully at least once basked in the sun without a care in the world beside their mother, with their tummies full, without a mournful tear to shed just yet. Walk with me in my moccasins as I pray daily for all the brown men who learned to suppress emotion and harness anger, who were once little brown boys. And hopefully at least once got to fish with their brown dads in the mid-morning sun with dried pemmican by their sides and smiles frozen in that brown moment. Walk with me in my moccasins as I try to tell the story without hatred, without self-pity, of a creator who has always walked with us when brown was the wrong color and still is almost everywhere. Walk with me in my moccasins and I'll tell you a story of many a time when I wanted to be walking with you. This was about to my kids, to my teenagers. And it's called Sitting in a Box because it's hard as an Indigenous person to watch our children struggle to find their identity and there's, different ways they could go that's not so good for them. Like there's addictions, there's many ways they could go. So as I watch my kids and try to make sure they go the right way, this is a poem to them and it's called Sitting in a Box. Sitting in a box at the bottom of the world, clenched hands squeezing the box, wrinkling its solidity, the clock ticking, miles of road behind the box without wheels. And I wonder, had you turned left and I right, would I have met you? Would you have chosen me to be your mother? Would I have met you? Would we have had to pave a road together, build a bridge, written the next passage? Sitting in a box at the bottom of the world, I see you struggle with a fairy tale. Does good prevail over evil? I see you try to make sense of the world in a world where the quiet ones are left behind. In a world where people are lost behind money and time has no real value but the wrinkles. The wrinkles show just how far they've traveled, but they don't see that. They see the expensive mirror in front of them, and the wrinkles are secondary as they slather expensive embryo cream all over. And the more money you have, the less wrinkles matter. We talk about this and we wonder what is more important. Why does it seem that jerks make it to top, as if we were all flies in a dance to live longer with the biggest pile of money? We talk about the war within ourselves to be spiritual or material. We are both struggling. We are both struggling to make sense of it and how a game could take so much of our time, and we figure we're hiding from the world. We talk about why daddies leave and why mummies drink and why people hurt little children, and we talk about what happens to those children. We talk about the fate or perhaps chance, or we wonder if it is both. I can't tell you anything except what I believe. I can't tell you anything except what I believe. And you can make up your own mind sitting in the box at the bottom of the world. Sitting in the box at the bottom of the world. Let me sit with you in this box. We'll watch the world stumble, tremble, and fail. Succeed and fall. And we will quietly reflect about how we can be a part of the world and yet apart with our own thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Sitting in this box as the world thunders all around us and time continues in our spirit's travel. And we know how to pick up the fragments, but just not today, but someday is good enough. Someday is good enough for us to begin our journeys as peacemakers. For today we can sit in this box at the bottom of the world and watch the rain fall. And we can be rain too. So I think I wrote this poem here because I think as kids, like, it's really fun to sit in a box, and it's like they just sit in a box and this box is super cool to them. So I just hope they remember that box that we used to sit in. So this book basically talks about the 7 sacred truths and is sectioned into the 7 sacred truths. And wisdom is the first truth. Love is the second truth. Respect is the third truth. There's also courage, honesty, humility. So yeah, I wrote this out of that. Many years of healing